Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about how to fix the whole issue with mods loading really slow. We've all been there where we've downloaded a mod from the mod store and it just takes forever to install. It doesn't seem to want to update correctly. And then once we do get into the game, it seems like it just takes forever to load. So in order to fix this issue, at least for the most part, we're going to go over what's going on in the game. I'm going to explain why certain things are glitchy, why they're buggy, and we're going to open up the hood here. We're going to lift the hood up and we're going to look inside the actual game while it's taking place, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Steam. You don't have to do this, by the way. This is optional. This part is optional. And you click on your game and you right click and you go to Properties. Once you're in your Properties window, you'll under General, you just scroll down and you'll see where it says Select Launch Options for the game. And you're going to want to just type in -log. Okay, just -log. Not underscore, just -log, like the minus symbol. You don't have to do this. This is if you want to see what's going on while you're running the game in the background. You can turn this off. Make sure you press enter when you're done typing it in or it won't save. So just hit enter and it will save. If you don't like it, that's fine. Get rid of it, hit enter, and you're good. Okay, so once we have that set up, we're then going to launch the game like normal. I will now edit this part out because we all know it takes a while. Okay, so we've loaded the game, and now what's going to happen is you're going to have two windows. You're going to have the game that's actually running, and you're going to have this backup window right here where we can actually look at the logs and see what's taking place in the background while we're playing the game. Okay, so what you want to do is just kind of put this off on another screen or just Alt-Tab for now. Don't worry about it. And again, if you turn the log off on that launch option, then you'll never see this again. So we're going to show you how this works, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this off screen for now, and I'm going to turn on the individual monitor system so we can monitor it live in the same moment while we play the game. And you're going to see it's going to start spitting code out as we start moving through the systems. All right, so when you finally finish loading the game, you're going to see a extra window pop up, and this is your console, and this is where all of the behind the scenes stuff is going to be displayed. So let's just get into the actual game here, and first we'll get to the log stuff in just a second. You can see it on the side of the screen there. I put it up there just so you can see it in real time. But in the meantime, you're going to come over here to mods list, and then you're going to click on my mods, or excuse me, installed mods. Let's just do that over. Okay, so now you should see two windows on your screen. Now I've conveniently put one on another window recorder so you can actually like see two windows at the same time. But you'll have two windows basically, and you'll be able to see what's going on in that screen as we do stuff in real time. So first off, let's just go to the mods list, and then we're going to click on installed mods. Now this is how you prevent the loading time issues. So over here, and I'm just going to hide this for just a hot second so you can see it a little bit clearer. On the top right here, you're going to see uninstall all mods. So this is what we want to click on. Now, just fair warning, if you do this, there is a chance that it might break the skin, just the skin, temporarily. It should self-correct after reloading the whole game and restarting everything. I can't really say because people have their mods set up differently sometimes, but it should be all right. So most of my friends and team have done this already and it worked fine for them. So hopefully it works fine for you, but just a little warning there just in case it doesn't. So uninstall all mods, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pick the ones that you do want installed and you're going to install them. Okay. And then once you have them installed, you're good to go. And then we can start the game. Now, what this does is you're basically purging a folder that gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you dynamically hit other people's mods that you don't even own. Because really, what this installed mods folder is, which they should probably be more specific, is it is a folder that is anything and everything that you have ever loaded while you've been playing the game. That's what this is. So let's say you go on a random map and you download, and you have to physically download some random mod that you don't even care about. That is forever going to try to load when you start the game. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is when you're done installing this and you've purged this folder, which is something you'll probably have to do every week or so or month, because this will get bigger, especially if you're traveling across the maps a lot or traveling across different servers a lot. You're going to be hitting a lot of different dynamic downloaded content. So what you want to do is just uninstall, pick the ones you want, boom, done. Again, this isn't a permanent fix. This is a quick fix. Now we go back to the actual game. We launch the game, we go to the server that we want to play on, and we're good to go. As you can see, we're just going to watch what takes place here as we load in, and you'll see it in real time in the game as it loads. So it's just saying like, okay, like it's already got that stuff loaded. That's great. Okay, so now we're going to wait. Now in game, if you open up your cosmetics folder, you'll see that it just finished loading already the Christmas one near instantly. This is my Holiday Haven mod, and now it still has to load the Tiki one. Now, if you want to see if something's loaded or not, see, it just finished loading my Tiki one, and there it is right there. It just said, finish loading Tiki Life. So you can see how it'll tell you when it's finished loading stuff. So you can see like what's taking place and what's taking a long time. You will not see anything until you see a folder loaded in here. So if you're not running the log system, which is this thing on the side of the screen, then you can always check and see if it's loaded or not by whether or not you see it in these folders. If you see a folder, it is loaded. It's done. It doesn't need to do any more loading. So if something's not working for you for that mod, that's the way it's going to be until you restart the game or until they fix it, whichever case the problem is. So because I've heard some people say, oh, it's just still loading or what. No, it's fully loaded once you see this folder. So just remember that. If you don't see the folder, just refresh it by doing this, because that's the way the UI works. You have to refresh it. It's like a one shot at the time when you click on it, and then it doesn't update until you do it again. So that's what we got. We got our mods loaded almost instantly. Now, Tiki Life can take 3 to 5 to 8 minutes to load if you have all those other mods in front of it, and you're basically downloading mods that you don't even use or you don't even care about, or you might have hit on someone else's server and you didn't even know they had it. So my point is, you probably want to make sure you turn off a lot of those mods that you're not using. The next thing is settings. Obviously, I will link these settings in the actual description of the video. These settings work great for my team, for me. They work great for anyone that's usually on like a 3060 or higher. They might not work for you. I don't know, but I'm going to paste these into the console right now. And now this is the difference with my settings. So everything's a lot more crisp, clean, smoother shading. It's just a little bit better overall. And you're going to get a lot better performance out of those settings as well. So settings make a big difference on performance. The next thing I want to talk about is some mods may not be optimized. My mods, of course, will always be highly optimized, and they should run smooth. They should be clean. They officially are more optimized than the original wildcard assets. Not all of them, but most of them. They're either equal or better. And I can explain that in another video. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because sometimes some mods are not optimized. So you may think a mod looks really cool, or it really is what you wanted, or it's got the right style, and that's fine. But I can't speak for those modders, but they may not have optimized it correctly. And I do plan on maybe going over some videos on how to help teach people how to better optimize their mods, because there's a lot of common mistakes in the Unreal Engine that people don't know about, but they do, and it ends up creating like this cascade effect where things are not correctly optimized, and then we have like a lot of lag and a lot of issues. So just make sure that the mod that you're using is well optimized, because that can cause performance issues while you're playing the game. Now, the next major culprit that causes performance issues is our dynamic download setting. So let's go into our dynamic download setting. I'm now going to kind of mute this for just a second so that we can show you these settings. What do these mean? What do they do? Okay, so if we go to advanced and we go over here to where it says disable cosmetics dynamic downloading, what this means, so by definition, dynamic downloading means downloading on demand is what it means. So if I do something in the game that requires me to see something that I don't have, am I allowed to download it? That's what this means. So if you turn this on, it should be the other way around, but if you turn this on, that means it will shut off all downloading of dynamic content. So if you run over someone's base and it just never updates and it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look, and they're like, why can't you see my mod? It's probably because you have this turned off or turned on, which means turned off. Just logically read that through. Now, how quickly you download their mod, that's what this is. So the amount of bandwidth that you give it is how quickly you will actually download someone's mod on demand. Now this gets interesting, and this is the major culprit for most lag in the game, and people don't even know about it. So let's pull up this screen again. So if we look at this screen, an issue that happens, if I can find my actual window, there we go. So if we scroll down here, okay, so you can see all my settings that I put in, blah, blah, blah. So when we start running around on the map, what's going to happen is it's going to start loading content that we don't own. And by the way, dynamic downloads are only for stuff that we don't have, that we personally don't have installed, that we personally don't have owned. So for example, if I run past my friend's base and he has some type of mod that I don't have, it will start to dynamically download it. Once it's downloaded, it is now in my installed folder, even though I don't own it. Once it's in my installed folder, every time I start my game, I am forced to load that mod. So this is where we start to get into this loophole problem. Now, if I'm flying across a map and I just keep going forever, and I'm hitting all sorts of different bases, all sorts of different content, okay, what's going to happen is all that content is going to start bottling up. It's going to start downloading mod A, mod B, mod C, something that I don't care about, another thing I didn't even know existed. It's going to start downloading all of those, and it's going to start just bottlenecking and just chugging. And we're going to show you what it looks like right now when that happens. The other thing I wanted to say before I start this process is I was just going to show you that when you have cosmetic dynamic download speeds set too high, you're not making your life any better. All you're doing is you're saying, sure, take all of my bandwidth and use it to download everything all at once. I'm on a fiber line. I'm on a super fast internet, but that's not going to make it better. What it's doing is it's basically saying, give all of my play bandwidth to you to take your time to slowly give me packets, which means it's going to slowly just keep smacking these big bricks of data in your face, which will cause lag in the game. So if anything, you want this to be lower than normal. Now we're talking kilobytes here, so 95K is not that much. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you want to make sure that you keep this low. You don't want to keep it high. Some people blast this up to 1 million and then they wonder why they crash, because you just allowed your entire game to shove tons of content through your line and you only get so much. There's ping levels and there's all sorts of stuff with the server. So you just got to make sure you keep it consistent and steady. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. Okay, so let's start flying across the world and I will show you a little bit about how this gets crazy quickly. Let me just do one more thing here. Activate auto scroll. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go fly across this planet real quick, and we're just going to see what kind of trouble we get into. We're going to start loading other people's stuff, and you should see it start looking for dynamic downloads as we go in real time while I'm playing the game. So let's roll up on this guy's base. You can see just now we just got pinged. That's a dynamic download. So A, we have to now download it, and we're going to start slowing down on our bandwidth and getting laggy until it finishes. And B, whoever owns that mod just got a download on their total downloads, which is not accurate. It doesn't mean it got a purchase, it got a dynamic download. So modders, we're getting false data. So just be sure you're aware of that. CurseForge knows about this. They're going to fix this. Now I just ran across another base. Oh, look, I'm starting to lag more. Oh, isn't that shocker? I wonder why. Because when we look at the log, you can see it's constantly downloading packets all over the place. Tons of packets. And look now I'm getting more lag. And you guys want to know why you're lagging so bad? This is why. Now we just hit someone else's skin over here. What's this one? I don't even know what it is. It looks like, I don't know. I can barely play the game. There we go. So now it's slowly loading these in. And you can look at how all these packets take forever. So the server is going to tell you how much you can actually download per packet. So even if we increase the speed, it's just going to keep rapidly adjusting and giving you more packets. So you're kind of screwed regardless. Now let's fly over this guy's base. Okay, and you can see where the problem starts, right? We just constantly keep getting inundated with tons of mods that we personally don't own, but we have to download. So what does this mean? Well, it's a few things. If you are, it's not the end of the world, but if you are always on the same server or you always live with the same people in the same area, then this really isn't that big of an issue. your loading times are always going to take a while, and you're just going to have to deal with it. If you are someone like me who is constantly going on hundreds of servers, you're all over the place, then it's a problem, because you're going to start accumulating all of this junk on your screen that you can see there. All these different mods are going to get thrown into your install folder. So each individual mod that we're looking at right now is also getting added to our install folder. So when I decide to quit right now and then come back into the game, guess what happens? It loads all of these mods before or after it loads the ones that I want, that I installed. If you look at my mods page now, after we loaded all of those mods, look at the difference. We now have 4 pages of content. So this just proves that we're now going to have to load 4 pages of mods. When I first started the video, it was only 3 pages. So it's always getting worse. And even though we just left the server, it is still downloading. It still has to finish doing all those dynamic downloads. So you may think, oh, I'll just leave the server and it will fix all my problems and all the lag will go away. No, it won't, because it still has to fix those hits no matter what. It has to finish downloading because we've technically added them to my installed mods folder. So hopefully everything that I gave you guys will help a little bit. Also remember that there's a lot of features that are in my mod that are already in some of these individual mods, so you can kind of condense and you don't have to have so many. If you get my mods, they have custom sounds, they have custom special effects, particles, and they're very well optimized. In some cases, if not most of them, they're all more optimized than the actual wildcard assets themselves. So feel free to check out my mods, Tiki Life and Holiday Haven. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to join our Discord and let us know in the chat.